Hi, my name's Lou. Come join me on my journey to leave my job, get on Darwin Gold, get 1 million in funding, and then hopefully, ultimately, travel the world. This is my first vlog. I sort of decided on holiday, on a family holiday, that I don't know, just had this flash of inspiration. I wanted to try something different, something difficult, something push me out my comfort zone. And I just thought, I don't have anything to document my journey so far. I've been training 5.5 years. I'm sort of break even slash most a little bit profitable over the last sort of 1.5 to 2 years. And this is the year and the next year that I'm really going to knuckle down because I want to change my life. And I just thought it'd be really fun to have something that that arc, that if I get to the end of the 2 years and I've achieved all the things that I want, how cool would that be? I mean, we all love to watch that YouTube, don't we, where someone says at the beginning, I'm going to do this, and then fast forward X amount of time, you get to see the time I actually do it. It's one of the best things, isn't it? So this is the intro before the outro, i.e. I've already been on holiday and come back. So I would really like it if you enjoy watching me in the Maldives. Spoiler alert, it isn't all bougie winning and lambos. It's a bit of reality. Bye. This whole YouTube vlogging thing is going to take a lot of getting used to. I don't know how people do this. It's really weird sitting here talking to yourself. However, I'm on the floor because I can't hold my phone and look at myself for any length of time without getting distracted. But as my husband pointed out yesterday, I don't have to have it on the selfie mode. I can just talk to the back of my phone. So that's what I'm doing. Anyway, after all that, basically, I will be trading this morning. And what happened in the airport is I knew my trading window started at 11:15 Maldives time, and therefore I knew we were due to land about 11:15 Maldives time. I also knew I didn't have that many trading windows whilst we were on holiday due to news and stuff. So what I decided to do was try and get on the internet on the plane. Didn't happen, just in case I could put it on there. How cool would that have been? Plane trade. But I couldn't do that. So when I landed, I was like, okay, right, let's have a look at the data packages. Can I get something that I can use while I'm in the Maldives? No, it's very expensive. I thought it used to be £6 a day. It's like £45 for a very small bundle. So I was like, no, that's out. And then as I went to put the trade on, I'd been really good. I'd printed out a little spreadsheet, secret sauce here, don't zoom in, and that means it would take me through each step of my thing, check my bias, my entries and stuff like that. But because I've made my edge a little bit more simple than it used to be, I basically then decided I knew what I was doing. And so I just went straight on the chart and I was like, okay, cool, there's an entry there, put it on. Was getting a bit distracted and overstimulated because my parents were trying to talk to me and everybody wanted bits. Put it on the Wi-Fi in the airport, walked out, got on the seaplane bus to the little terminal, and I was like, I don't think I've checked the bias. And I was like, oh, there's a possibility I've taken an invalid trade, because if the bias for me, the way I look at bias on the 4-hour EMA, if it's neutral, I shouldn't be trading. So I then had to sit on the bus all the way into the terminal wondering if I had an invalid trade on or not, and also, you know, all the time trying to make nice general holiday chit chat. So I got in the terminal, logged on the Wi-Fi. Of course, lo and behold, it was a neutral bias, so it was invalid. So I took it off straight away and I only lost 0.3R, as we said. However, this time round, boom, secret sauce sheet. And I will be checking the bias very shortly, because all I've got to know is where the bias was at 4 AM England time, which was 5 hours ahead. So I don't think it'll be done yet, but I'll check shortly and I'll let you know. There we go. So shortly, in fact, that I have checked the bias now, because it was about 5 minutes from when I needed to check it. And the bias for today is a clear buy, so that's what I'll be looking for. I quite like doing these when the other half is asleep, because I told them yesterday, it makes you feel a bit silly when you watch me. But that's it. what I thought I would say is, I'm not going to be some trader guru or trying to teach anybody or whatever. I already said this is about sort of documenting my journey, so that in a couple of years, hopefully, if I get everything I want, then it'll be really nice to look back on this. But at the same time, if there's anything I learn or anything that helps me, then, you know, why not tell people? So for me, so far, lessons of the week have been, don't rush trades. Like, I need a quiet environment. I need to be sitting down and I need to be working through with process. It was a mistake to put a trade on in the airport. And I think sometimes it's better to miss a winning trade than it is to make a big mistake. Like, okay, I was quite lucky I got out of that with 0.3R, worst case scenario, full loss. But if I put the numbers on wrong because I'd been distracted, you could be looking at situations where you blow accounts and all sorts. So sometimes I think you just need to know yourself and know if you're the sort of person who gets really distracted when other people are around, don't bother. Anyway, top tip of the day. And that's it. So my bias is up, buy, and at the trading window time in the Maldives, which should be 10:15 a.m. 10 to 10:15 a.m. I will sit down and put my trade on. Just walking back to the water villa now. Literally the first time I've done this in public. Someone's looking at me, feel weird. Just gonna go put my trade on, have breakfast, and off I go. Stupidly, I just recorded a little video about my trade, but I had it on selfie mode on the other way around. So it's just recorded the corner of the rip. So we go again. Just put my trade on. I'm on an EU buy. I said on the other video, I'm a bit anxious about this trade because it's weird. We've only been away, like I only haven't traded for a week, and you just feel, I feel like when I'm out of my routine, I feel a bit out of sync. So I was really, really careful. Got everything written down here. I did the trade, checked it, double checked it, checked the lot size, checked the expiry time, checked the different bits of bobs across. I put it on my PERS, my funded next challenge, which is my current master for all my copy ones, and on my 200k alpha funded, which randomly won't copy across. I'll explain what accounts I've got on another video, but that is it. Gonna try not to get too attached to the trades. I have a tendency to watch them sometimes. It's worse when I'm at work and I'm bored. Obviously I'm here, I'm not bored, and just have to remind yourself, it's not about the winning or losing, it's about the bigger picture, the overall arc. You're gonna lose, you're gonna win, you're gonna have hot streaks, you're gonna have cold streaks, but at the end of the year, if you've made a decent percentage, you know, even 15%, you can change your life. You just have to be a bit patient. So that's what I tell myself. So for the second time, I literally was sitting in the sun lounge. I thought, oh, let's just have a look, and it literally clicked in as I looked. I had to go to the chart to check what my BE level is, and the candle before doesn't look promising. Looks pretty heavy sell, and obviously I'm looking for a buy. Well, no expectations. I got caught out with this before, so we'll see. And let's change it up. Let's give the update. Sitting on the bed, chilling, waiting to go into a Discord Traders coffee, because ultimately I know I'm on holiday. I love my Discord Traders coffee. I'll tell you more about my Discord another day. So I'm going to sit and watch that. And the trade result was an L. Wouldn't it be the perfect start to a little bougie traders vlog if it was a win? But it's always the way to be L. But ultimately, and then my dad was like, oh, what happened to your trade? And I was like, I don't know. And it's sort of, when you zoom out and you think, like my data last year, I think there was 95 trades in this edge. Half of those would have been L's, so I would have had to take 42 L's last year. As it was on the edge that I used last year, I took a bunch of L's, loads of sort of chopping, changing, and I still came out break even. So ultimately, it's just part of the process, and I didn't think it would win. It didn't, and that's fine. But then there's other times where I've looked at it and gone, it's not going to win, and it did. So you just put it on, you zoom out. I think this is my second L in a row, not counting the little airport accidental trade, which was obviously a very small L. the benefit of this year, of having data on this edge this time, which is I haven't had on other edges, is like I know that 2Ls, 3Ls, 4Ls, 5Ls are going to come at some point. And also, I'm never going to know if it's an entirely profitable edge for a year unless I just keep taking the trades. So, zoom out, trades an L, all good, on to the next. Just a little video to wrap up the day. I looked at my loss from earlier. Actually, start again. Just a little video to wrap up the day. A little glass of wine before off to dinner. I looked at my loss video earlier, the one that I posted, and it's really interesting because you can see I was disappointed. And I don't think that will ever leave you trading. Like if you take a loss, I think as soon as you start taking 2, 3, there's part of you that just immediately starts thinking, oh no, my edge is broken. I just don't think, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. If there are other people who take 2, 3 losses and you're like, yeah, whatevs, then let me know. But it was really nice. Went to the Discord coffee call, and I'm in a Discord called Social Connection, and I think it's really important, I've found since being on there, to just be around other people that are like having the same issues. Like you take a couple of losses and it's no big deal because other people are taking them, you're seeing them taking them, and it just feels really nice. And we were in the Discord coffee today, and there was a little bit about uncertainty, and it was just a really nice reminder that like you're never going to be able to control the process, and ultimately you can't stop. You've just got to keep going. Like, how are you ever going to know what's around the corner until you just let it play out? So if you take 1 loss or 2 loss or 3 or 4, you've got no option. You just have to carry on. That is what it is. So a little shout out to my mentor in the Discord, Al. I don't know if he'll ever watch any of these, but if he did, I was beating him at FPL this week. We don't talk about now, but I was beating him at the beginning of the week. And that's it really, just a little reflection to say a loss is a loss, and on to tomorrow. Very quick one. A bit tired today. I think it's just a combination of lack of hydration, heat, all that stuff. Trade on. Noticed a really interesting thing when I looked at the loser from yesterday about volatility and daily range and stuff like that. So I'm just going to not make any immediate changes. I'm just going to track as I go, but I'm going to start tracking the ATR of the day, the ATR 14. Other than that, trade's all set. I'm sort of fully expecting it to be a loser because that's how it goes on holiday, isn't it? You don't come out and get winners. So we'll see how it goes, but either way, it's part of the game. Carry on. A little pit stop in after the beach, come back to get my charging block. Took an L, told you I would. It's funny, isn't it? Like, depends how long you've been trading, but you will start to realise that trading will never give you an easy option. Start a trading vlog, you'll take a bunch of L's. Be on holiday, you'll take a bunch of L's. Work really hard to get to a trade, like find the time in the day to take it, you'll take an L. But I think the whole point is, you have to have that mentality where you zoom out. I'm telling myself this, you see. Like last year, I took a bunch of L's on various different points of my edge, and I still ended up up. Not as much as I would have liked last year, but I think, to be fair, if I'd have had a more consistently mechanical edge, then I would have actually been up enough. But it's one of those things, and being in prop firm challenges / having accounts, you always feel like you're a bit on that knife edge when you go into DD, etc. Like, I haven't failed a challenge in years, mainly because I've sat in some of them for a long time. I'll tell you about my record another day. I bought myself a 200k out of some trading profits, and that is now, unfortunately, because I sort of swapped edge in the middle and caught a bunch of the losers, that is now on minus 7.5 DD. So I've got 3 more trades on it really. One and a loss, I guess. definitely 2, possibly 3. We'll see how we go. But to be fair, I mean, realistically, you start having to look at that like it's gone. And there's a little badge of pride about that, you know what I mean? But it's silly because you can't, like, my mentor says you've got to treat them as a tool. And you do, and it's not like, obviously, if you're blowing through them every month, like he says, then that's maybe problematic. But if you're taking one and things don't happen and it fails, so be it. Obviously, it came out trading profits, so for me, it was like effectively a risk-free thing. It's funny, isn't it? Like, you do your back testing and you see 2 or 3 L's, no problem, and then you start taking them and you're like, oh no. And for me, I immediately start thinking, oh, what if it's 4 L's? What if it's 5? What if it's 6? What if it's 7? What if it's 8? What if it's 9? What if it's 10? What if it shows that the edge is washed? What if you have to start all again? But that's catastrophizing, because none of that has occurred. And it was a really interesting lesson about yesterday about the volatility. Like, if I'd simply have sat that out, that would have been fine. I'd have saved myself a loss. So what I've agreed to do with my mentor is I'm going to, because it's such an easy thing to put back in my back testing, is I'm just going to put the ATR 14 on for every trade that I've taken in the last 6 to 8 weeks live, and then the year before that of back testing. And I'm just going to work out a number, and if there's a number that says, I don't know, like I think the average range for EU is about 4 to 6 on the ATR, 14 on the 15-minute chart. But so, like, I don't know, if it's like yesterday, I think it was 9.5. So let's just say it's over 8 or 9. Maybe I don't take it, and maybe I don't sit in those days if it doesn't take away too many wins. So that's my plan. Like I said, how cool would it have been to come on holiday and take a couple of wins? But you know what? Wouldn't have been realistic. So maybe it's better this way. Maybe you can see how it goes. So that's going to be me done until Thursday. And then we go again. One more trading day of the month. In summary, my overall month, I'm slightly up on my Darwin, randomly. But I think overall I am 0.5 R down. So even if I take a L on Thursday, I'm still only going to be 1.5 R down for the month. But because sometimes when you stack those wins at the front of the month and then you take the losing streak, obviously it doesn't feel so much like that. But that's trading for you, isn't it? You get your hot streak and your progress, and then suddenly you think that profit's yours, and then obviously it's never yours. So you've got to get into the habit, for me, of trying to think month to month rather than week to week. And you know, it doesn't help when there's a few people in your group that are doing really well and stuff, but you gotta dig in. You never get to the end unless you just keep going. So that is it. An L from me today. Maybe I'll say something later, maybe I won't. But other than that, I'm off to England tomorrow, and we go again on Thursday. Bye. Just about to do my very first shred fast. Health and fitness and leveling up and everything, really important on our group, and they rave about it. So I'm going to give it a go. Beauty of a group, I already said this morning I was going to do it, so if I didn't, I look like a pussy. Not sure if you're allowed to say that on YouTube, but never mind. There you go, so, about to go. It's ultra annoying. This is the 3rd time I've recorded this. The first time was wonderful. It was really good and I liked it and I was really happy, and then I just obviously for whatever reason tapped something on the phone to put it out of focus, so I did it again and then I thought it was boring, so I'm doing it again. So I feel like I'm trapped in a never-ending Groundhog Day of saying exactly the same thing. Anyway, last time you saw me I was shred fasting. That was great. I enjoyed it. I won't go into any more than that because it's the 3rd time I've said it. Or maybe I'll say a bit more about my sort of health and fitness journey on another day. But trading, Thursday. Long story short, for the millionth time, I noticed that trade earlier in the week where the volatility, it made my stops look tiny, and I was like, okay, cool. Is there a way I can look at that to be like, is there a metric that I can look at to be like, okay, it's a volatile day, can I sit out of it? And I'd never looked at ATR before, but I used fixed stops. So to be fair, it made a lot of sense to have something in volatility. I did have something, but it was really loose. It was just basically based on, have there been any big news events, etc. If there is, increase the stops, and I had various metrics. Problem is, I don't really read the news, so that was a bit moot, as they say. And I was like, actually, I was a bit disappointed because I was like, here I am again, changing my strategy. But it's not a big change, but I did a lot of changing last year. And my main goal this year was to come into the year and stay very fixed. But at the same time, I guess when you're building your own edge, which is what I've done, you are going to find holes, and it's ridiculous not to patch those holes. So I went back and ran the ATR over all of my previous trades, live and back tested, and actually it was quite illuminating that I think the number I decided on in the end was 6.7. So if the ATR 14 is 6.7 or above at 5 a.m, I sit out, because to be fair, I'd never actually won a trade at the higher end of the ATR, so it sort of makes sense really. So I put that in, and that kept me out of a trade on Thursday, and that was a loss. That was nice. And that's me done for the week. So 2 trades down. As I said in both the last videos, I was way more cheerful when I said it because it wasn't for the 3rd time. I'm okay with the 2 losses because ultimately, as I say in the intro for this, like, it is about reality. And I think that if I'd have come on, first vlog I've ever done, take 2 wins, don't get me wrong, I'd be an absolute baller, but it just wouldn't be realistic. And we had a really interesting voice note on the group today where I think someone was a bit down because they'd taken a lot of losses or seen a lot of losses in backtesting. And my mentor, group runner, he basically was like, the trading space is making everybody feel like you've got to win all the time and you've got to win big, and if you're not, you're failing. And the whole point is, how much better is this? You see 2 losses, people take 2 losses all the time. I think I'm on a 3 or 4 loss streak, but that's reality. And so hopefully, if anybody watches this and you've taken a couple of losses, you can feel better about that, and that's nice. Don't get me wrong, when I came off the plane and I turned my airplane mode off and was immediately faced in the group with the fact that several people had passed some things and made payouts and done all that sort of stuff, I was like, meh. And I came home, and the next day, I mean, I was tired, which never helps, but I was definitely like, meh. I was like, draw down again, draw down. Like, if I had a trader insta name, it would be Queen of Drawdown. I'll explain that another day. But at least this is real. Do you know what I mean? I've been trading 5.5 years. I've had 1.5 fairly drawdown years, but I've made not drawdown, break-even years, but I've made money, and I'll never know how far I can go until I just keep going, keep pushing myself. So important thing this year, no changes. I've patched the holes, no changes. Not going to beat myself up if I have to change something, but ultimately the plan is to stay the same. Really enjoyed doing the YouTube content stuff. Never thought I would, but patching it all together, making a little journey, has been really fun. And who knows, I might do this for 2 years and no one ever watches it, but it's fine by me because I like learning new things. And anyway, now I'm starting to veer into rambling. So I will say goodbye and see you next week.